Good morning, good morning. Hey, good morning. I'm excited because today I'm going to show you what I do when I dial in espresso recipes and figure out how to make espresso with a new coffee. And we're going to go through it. It's a lot of tasting, a lot of coffee, um, a lot of coffee. It's a lot. There's a lot. But I'm going to walk you through exactly what it is that I do so that you can better understand how to find out the best recipe for making your espresso. And every coffee is different. So every time that you get a new coffee and you have an espresso machine, it requires that you dial in a recipe. Ooh, excuse me. So let's first talk about what you need. You're going to need an espresso machine setup. It doesn't have to be this intensive, but realize that if you're working with one of like the little Mr. Coffee machines that are pre-pressurized filters, you're not going to get the same results. So if you have some kind of an espresso setup, you're going to be able to dabble in and figure out a recipe that has, like, make adjustments to your recipe that has an impact on the coffee that you're tasting. So you'll need an espresso machine. You'll need a quality espresso, like an espresso quality grinder, and you'll need a scale, and that's kind of the only things, those are kind of the only things that you need. Of course, you will need some amazing coffee. Again, quick little plug for this month's featured coffee. This is the Espirito Santo, roasted by Casa Brazil. And you should know that if you go to www.casabrasil.com and use the code TESPRESSO, you'll get 20% off your first order of $25 or more. Thank you, Casa Brazil guys. You guys are awesome. And know that that's like, I am affiliated with them because I'm featuring them, but there's like no other monetary affiliation. They were just like, hey, Tespresso subscribers are awesome. We want to give them a little bit of a discount, and we'd be happy if you shared it. And I'm more than happy to share that. So go visit their website, check out what they have, and like, if you liked this coffee, try their other coffees from Brazil. Particularly, they have one product that I'm super interested in. I don't want to make this too long, but it's already getting long. They have like an experimental set of different Brazilian coffees from various regions, so you can taste the differences between different regions in Brazil, which I think is super cool. Okay, so back to espresso stuff. Dialing in a recipe. What are the components of an espresso recipe? First thing is dose. Second thing is yield. Third thing is time and or grind size. So what I mean by dose is you have your portafilter. Your portafilter is going to have a filter basket in it. And the filter basket is going to be rated to a certain gram size. If your machine is one that says single dose versus double dose filter basket, you'll probably notice that like the single dose is almost terraced. It's like tiered inwards, and it's got a smaller opening on the bottom, and the double filter basket is going to be wider and open that way. Those are going to be 7 grams and 14 grams in the vast majority of cases. If you have a higher end espresso machine and you've ordered specialty baskets to go with it, you can get anywhere from 7 grams to like 22 grams. So the ones that I use, the standard that I stick with is 18 grams. So those are a little bit more than the classic Italian double shot of espresso. And saying double and single shot, that's a topic for another day. They mean different things in different contexts. But when we're talking about a filter basket, find out what gram size or what grammage it is rated for, and that's going to be the basis for your dose. I like to updose a little bit so that the basket is more compact. It tends to be that when you have medium or lighter roasted coffees, that their density is such that you're able to put more into the filter basket. So if I were to put just 18 grams in there, generally speaking, it would run too quickly and I wouldn't be happy with the outcome. So I updose to 20 grams, and that's going to be the start. For the dose, you can kind of just set that. You can kind of say, hey, I'm going to do my experimental recipes all with the same dose. And once you set that, everything else becomes a lot easier. So the next thing that you need to work on is yield, and that's the main focus of testing and changing your espresso recipes. So for the yield, espresso is loosely defined as coffee put through water, put through coffee at a high pressure, generally around 9 bar, and extract it at a 1-to-2 ratio. So if we have 20 grams of coffee going in our dose, 20 grams in, and 40 grams out, that is a 1-to-2 ratio. So that is always where I start with any espresso recipe. I will start with one shot, or I'll pull one espresso at a 1-to-2 ratio, and then I will pull another espresso on either side of that. So today we're going to aim for a 20 grams in, 40 gram yield, 20 grams in, 38 gram yield, that's 2 grams under, 20 grams in, 42 gram yield, that's 2 grams over. And then I will go through each of those, taste each of them, and see which one I like the most. If I like the 40 gram the most, hey, we're done. We figured it out. That is the kind of middle ground there. If we have either end that I like the most, then I'll pull another shot that's 2 grams further in that direction. So if, for example, we have 20 grams in and 38 grams out, I'll pull another shot at 20 grams in and 36 grams out. And I'll compare those two. If I have trouble deciding between any two grammages, I don't even know if that's right, but I like that word. If I have trouble deciding between any two grammages, then I will pull another shot in between them. So let's say that I have the 38 gram and the 36 gram. And I'm like, both of these are pretty good. Like this one's a little bit more fruit forward, and this one's a little bit more like sweetness is a little bit more developed, but I don't know which one. Like neither of them is balanced, like super balanced for me. So I'm going to pull one at 37. And if I get, it can get crazy. So sometimes I will go in and like, if I can trust all of my instruments perfectly, I'll go in and I'll do like 0.5 grams of each of those things. But that's the kind of basis around how things are going for developing a recipe. So first, we talked about dose. You kind of set your dose based on the filter basket size. Talked about your yield. You pull yields at a 1-to-2, and then on either side of the 1-to-2 ratio, taste all of them, see which one you like the best. Further experimentation as needed. And then the timing and or grind size. So if you look at espresso recipes out there, if you just Google espresso recipes, you'll find that most of them are something like put in 20 grams into your basket, pull out 1 ounce of coffee in a shot glass, and then make sure that you time it and it's around 27 seconds. I believe all of that is bunk, that it's much better to base your recipes on gravimetric measuring, so weigh it out rather than volumetric measurings. And also that time is important. I'm not discounting how time affects the extraction process, but that your adjustments to time should be through the like tweaking the fineness or the coarseness of your grind. So if you make your grind a little bit finer, it's going to come out slower, but that ratio is going to stay the same. So that otherwise, like if you adjust your time, then the rest of your recipe gets super wacky and that ratio doesn't stay the same, and it's much more difficult to keep track of which elements are actually impacting the taste that you're tasting. Okay, so enough theory craft, let's actually just get into it. So I'm going to pull each of these shots. I'm going to taste them. It's going to be kind of boring because I'm just going to be like looking into the camera and sipping away and then measuring. But here we go. So actually show off the screen here this time. So we're going to be doing what's called the blooming profile, which is a little bit more advanced, but it allows for high extraction. Oh, that wasn't a good noise. It allows for a better extraction of kind of light to medium roast coffees like the ones that we're playing with. So what it's doing right now is that it's heating up the water, and you can see that green line going up. That means that it's increasing in pressure and the water flow going in is up, and then it'll immediately drop off after it gets to a certain point and say, hey, let's just hang out for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and let the espresso in the portafilter so-called bloom. That helps get rid of the oxidation that's happened in the coffee so that the rest of the extraction can happen more naturally. So yeah, here in just a second, it'll start ramping up that green pressure line again because the water flow will go back into it. And the output will go. Okay, I'm going to put this back so I can watch my scale. So I'm going to stop this process once it gets to 40 grams. All right, and I know this is not the most environmentally friendly. I've actually ordered some cups and some chalkboard stickers, whiteboard stickers, so that I don't have to use paper cups anymore. But having a paper cup, or at least little slips of paper under your cups to write what the final weight was, is a good idea. Because, for example, just now, when I actually pulled this, it came out to 39.5 grams. So that's what I'm going to write on here, just so I know that I didn't quite hit my mark. And it is difficult to hit your mark every single time. So I'll do 39.5. And then make sure to take a sip of it when it's hot, right when it comes out, but then let it cool down, because we're going to be comparing these based on their cooler temperatures, because that's when your taste buds can understand more what's going on. When it's too hot, like first impressions when it's really hot is important, but for the sake of comparing and contrasting, it's impractical and actually not good for the taste buds. So here we go. Okay, so I'm okay with that. I know this coffee, after playing with it on pour over for the past couple of days, I know this coffee has more sweetness to it, more sweetness potential to it than what's in that. So we're going to try to draw that out. And that's kind of my main goal in developing a recipe for today. Is like, I want that sweetness to be clear and apparent in every espresso shot that I take. All right, so again, that first one was a 20 grams of coffee in, 40 grams of coffee out. We're going to do the exact same thing, except this time we're looking for 38 grams of coffee out. We're going to pull it on the slightly less extracted side. If you're playing with an espresso machine that has pre-infusion, you can basically think of the blooming profile as one that has a very long pre-infusion time. But don't think that you have to have that level of advanced tech nonsense in order to pull good espresso shots. Okay, so another thing that's important to watch is your puck prep. Make sure that you're doing the same puck prep every single time, repeatedly. Having tools is useful, but is not critical. So things like this leveler, having a, oh, that was perfect. Okay, so that one came out at 37.5. I'll taste that one now. Oh, and you can see, I can see significantly more crema on this one. And so that going down pulled out a little bit more of those fruity notes, but I feel like it's less balanced. So I'm actually hoping that the other direction, going up to 42, will be better for us. It's going to do that. But what I was going to say is that another important thing to notice and pay attention to is your the actual outflow. So like watch the stream of espresso as it's coming out of the portafilter. And it should be one stream, or it should converge to one stream very quickly if you have a naked portafilter, a bottomless portafilter. If you have the spouted portafilters, it's a little bit more difficult to see any errors in your puck preparation. That's not a huge deal. You can still see, like, if it flows out of one side faster than the other, that's an indicator. But it should have one stream that converges, comes together, no spray, and you should see the blonding effect happen throughout the process of the shot. So it'll start off darker and syrupier and slower, and then as those elements of the coffee get pulled out, the water has less resistance as it's going through, so you'll see it come out slightly faster and the color will change. Oh, hey Christian, I'm glad you like the word grammage. All right, so this one we're going up to 42 grams. Perfect. So we actually hit 42.4. All right, set that down. Okay, so I feel like that's good. It may have gone too far in the other direction. Do I train baristas too? Yes, Kate, I absolutely do train baristas. I have some good news that I will probably talk to you about in person, or maybe you already know. But we'll probably be announcing it next week. One of the things that I do on occasion is I'll go in and I'll do barista trainings for coffee shops, or I'll help them work on their operations or their workflow or anything that a coffee shop is running into issues with. But a lot of the time it is technical training with espresso machines and coffee and all of that jazz. And so we'll get into all this nonsense and we'll do these tastings, and people get super jacked and hyped, and it's it's fun because you are interacting with people who've had way too much coffee. But yes, if you have any training needs, hit me up. I'll help you out. I'll take care of you. Should we get an expert in here though? Emily, I need your expert opinion. I need you. Can you taste these espressos and tell me which one you like the most? Oh yeah, we're live. You're gonna go be on camera. Jacked and hyped. Yes. Should we get children tasting espressos? What do you think? 2.5-year-olds? They're allowed to drink coffee, right? No, dude. You can't have some.
This one is
There is a
one
package.
you made last, right?
Yes, that is the most recent one.
That's a pack.
She's telling from the temperature.
It's for you, Baba.
I mean, it's not fair because the more like you made recently, it tastes better for me. Better, not bitter.
Not bitter. That's good. That's good news.
No, they are not bitter.
Okay. So of those three, though,
I like this one the most.
That is rainy. That is rainy, Mama.
It's a little bit watery. Because maybe the ratio is not bigger or smaller. I don't know.
Okay, so if I tell you that this is the middle one, this is the lower one, this is the higher one, do you want to go even higher than this?
No.
No. So you think this is the right? Would you go a little bit lower than this?
A little bit lower than this.
Okay, so that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna pull 2 more shots, and you don't want to show your face?
Sit down, Mama. Sit down.
Okay.
I know. I'm also shy in front of the camera. It's weird, y'all. Talking to a camera and seeing these comments. Yeah, pop in, say hi. Can you say hi, Bobo? Say hi.
Hi. Where is the camera?
Look at the camera.
Oh, my face look weird.
Hey, oh, careful! Don't touch that. It's gonna make loud noises in everybody's ears. You gonna give me a kiss? All right.
I'll see the,
No. All right. We'll see you later. Okay, so that confirmed my my suspicions. We got an expert in. She made her vote. Her vote was for the 42, but she doesn't want to see it go at a higher ratio. So we're going to lower it and then raise it a little bit. So we're going to tighten that variance as well. We're going to go down to 41 grams and up to 43 grams, and then try that again.
Did I say lower?
What?
This
This is 20 to 40, 20 to 38, 20 to 42.
42. I think it's too much.
Right?
Yeah, like 40-ish.
Yeah, so this is 40. The middle one is 40. Do you want to try that one again? But I agree with you. I think that 42 is the best, but it's not quite where I want it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to do one at 41,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
one
yeah,
at
that's what I
43,
mean. Yeah,
and test it again.
yeah, just making sure you're getting me right.
All right, so I was able to do the prep work. 41. Christian can already tell. 41. Christian, have you done... throw that on there just for shits and giggles. Have you done espresso experiments with this yet?
Hi, Baba.
I know you guys can't see, but he's sitting on the stool right there, waving at the screen, saying hi, Baba. Dude, don't touch that. Don't touch that, buddy. Hey, don't let him touch that. That's going to create lots of loud noises for everybody. Okay, so I was able to prep all of the first 3 shots. So now we're going to get into grinding again, and it's going to make loud noises. I apologize. Oh, okay. Christian, this is a much longer topic of discussion, but I can do some quick answers now if you tell me what is your budget. Actually, I guess I can kind of touch on this. This isn't a topic that I was planning on covering until later this year, but this will help me formulate some thoughts. So, espresso machines. Everybody wants an espresso machine. Everybody wants to be able to have, cafe quality coffee in their home and be able to make it themselves. The issue with that is that most budget value espresso machines are not true espresso machines. So you'll have like a Mr. Coffee that will go up to like 15 bar pressure and nothing else. And that's bad because after 11 bars of pressure, it kind of just falls apart. And sure, it may cost like $50 to get that, and it'll have like a crappy little milk steamer on the side, but it will be super wet, and you'll end up with this like super bubbly, gross foam and like super watery. Oh, children. Super watery espresso. The other side of it, though, is that having a machine that can do all of the things that you might want as an espresso hobbyist is going to be really expensive. So this machine is the Decent Espresso machine. I am a huge fan. It's one of the most technologically advanced espresso machines available on the market today, and it's considered cheap, and it's $4,000. The other end of the spectrum is getting some of the older Italian machines, especially the kind of used ones that are like refurbished or something like that. For those, I would recommend as a hobbyist or like a home user, something like a Rancilio Silvia. You can find those for $500 to $700 used. A Rocket Apartmento is a solid choice as well. I think those are like $1,500 new. Let's see, what are some other good ones? A Gaggia Classic. Those can be like, get a Classic Pro. Don't get just the, well, actually I think the Classic as well is okay. Those you can find for around 500-ish. But the other part of this that a lot of people forget is that having an espresso quality grinder is equally, if not more important. Like, of your budget, you should commit most of it to the grinder. Like, the espresso machine itself, as long as it hits 9 bar pressure, is relatively consistent, doesn't lose a whole lot of temperature, and has at least, it has a quality heat exchange or a double boiler, then you're set. Like, that's all you really need in an espresso machine. But having a grinder that doesn't produce a consistent grind will make every dollar that you spend in that espresso machine basically worthless. So for grinders, stopping at 41, nailed it, 41.3. So for $500, I would honestly say don't get an espresso machine yet. Either save up for a quality grinder that can do both espresso and everything else, like a niche. A niche Zero will still run you a lot of money. That's like an $800 grinder. But it's great for at-home use. It's not amazing for high-volume places, but I'm thinking about getting one for myself. I haven't quite pulled the trigger yet. But that's what I suggest first. Like if you have other methods to brew coffee, get a quality grinder. Like spend a little bit more on the grinder side of things. Yeah, I know it's shocking, right? Excuse me. And then save up for an espresso machine. The other... Nope, that's it. I don't even have to do the other one. Right on the money. 41.3 is where it's at. Okay. So I'm not going to continue pulling shots because I know, like once you do this enough, you'll get to a point where it clicks, where it hits, and you're like, yes, that is the taste that I'm looking for. That's what I wanted from this particular espresso. But normally, if I'm doing this with somebody else, or if I am training baristas, then we'd go through the motions and we'd pull like 8 shots and have them compare them and vote on which direction they want to go in, and keep going until people are satisfied. But I'm satisfied with that 41, so that's what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the time that I'm brewing this coffee on espresso. The last thing to do is, and I should have been watching that espresso come out of the portafilter and thinking about this rather than getting distracted, but that's all I do. I love getting distracted. The last thing that I'll do is I will adjust the grind size. So the first couple of shots every single day in a commercial setting, you're going to be pulling and watching that flow rate and then adjusting your grind size accordingly. That is also that you already have a recipe. So that means that I have this grinder basically dialed in. It's gotten to the point where whatever comes out is roughly the right size for pulling espresso. And so making super minor adjustments to it. It's like if we look at this wonderful little printout here, you'll see that we have different micron levels. So I will literally grind up some coffee and put it on this micron scale and kind of do my best to spread it around and look at the distribution of the grind size. And when you're making adjustments for espresso, it's all going to be on that fine end, kind of those last 3 columns there. But what you're looking for is how much of the coffee is in each column. So if I grind, say, 5 grams of coffee, that's actually probably a lot. If I grind like 1 gram of coffee and I put it on there and I spread it out, and I say, oh, hey, most of it is landing kind of in the middle here, and there's some in this part and some in this part. And I think that we need to go a little bit finer, then maybe I want 30% here, 30% there, and 40%, or 40%, have that spread make sense. Okay.
That's your packet.
No, dude, that's a newspaper. Do you want to open it?
No.
So 41 is the answer. 41 is what we found for this coffee. We're gonna call the recipe as 20 grams in, 41 grams out, and the variance on either side of that is around 0.2 grams, meaning that when I'm weighing out my coffee before I grind it, yeah, dude, all those newspapers are for you. When I weigh out my coffee before I grind it, I'm going to allow for a 0.2 variance on either side, meaning I can go from 19.8 grams up to 20.2 grams, and if the coffee that I pour in there is outside of that variance, I will pull some out or add some in accordingly. Same thing for the yield. The yield is a little bit more fluid, but we know that the 41 is ideal, and that 40 and 42 are not as good. So we're trying to hit 41 perfectly, and 0.2 grams to 0.4 grams on either side of that. That's not going to happen every time, and it's not a huge deal. It's not a big worry, especially if you are using the espresso as a base for milk drinks. So when you mix in milk, it kind of mellows out and spreads out all of the flavors that you experience in espresso. But if I'm ever serving straight espresso, then I will pull it until I nail the recipe, because I know that experience is going to be the best. All right, that's all I have for today. I hope you guys stay caffeinated. And let's wait. Put the music up. I hope you stay caffeinated. Have a wonderful week, guys. I'll catch you around next time. Bye.